Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, Bootlicker, Shills, Desolate, Search, Peasants, Vassals, Means, Meat Sacks. One of my other monikers besides a useful idiot is Nostro Dumbass. And so today I will be Nostro Dumbass as I make predictions for 2025. And I don't usually do this kind of video. I haven't over the last 15 years or so, but it seems like there's a lot of things that are fairly predictable coming up in 2025. We're a few days into the new Trump administration, and the writing seems to be on the wall for a lot of things. So in line with a couple of videos I just did, I think we're going to see the demise of the woke culture, the ESG programs with corporations, and DEI, and it's quickly getting dismantled now. So that's a easy prediction to make because it's happening so fast. So this grand social engineering project by the Biden administration and Democrats seems to be coming to an end. So that's one prediction. Another prediction I have is that in one form or another, it seems inevitable. It seemed inevitable for a long time, but now it seems like the writing on the wall is that there could very well be a war with Iran. It's the last country on Wesley Clark's infamous list. They want to finish the job, and it seems likely that there will be a direct confrontation with Iran in spite of a lot of things that Trump has said. Another prediction I have for 2025 is that Israel will move forward with more intentions to annex um, the West Bank, and Trump has already given support during his last term that the capital of Israel will be moved to Jerusalem. And so I think within this next year, we could see a dramatic move towards this finality of Israel's plans. And I also predict that, once again, it's not hard to predict that the true horror not only will be revealed about what's happened in Gaza, but it'll become really apparent that Gaza as we know it will no longer exist, and that we may see a mass exodus from Gaza. We're certainly going to see more genocide and destruction, and this ceasefire really is just a speed bump. Israel's achieved most of its goals, but it's hard for me to imagine the war per se may end soon or within the next few months, but the entire Gaza saga will unfold fully in the next year, and so that will also go couple nicely with the fact that the Ukraine war has to end. Ukraine is exhausted, as one report put out. They've actually lost more like 1 million soldiers. There's reports that the Russians have lost somewhere between 500,000 and 800,000 soldiers. And Trump is really adamant about coming to an agreement. And I think with his attitude and his presence and his perseverance, I think Putin will come to the table and there'll be some agreeable terms. Trump seems to be very warm to the fact that having Ukraine become a member of NATO is a serious issue, and that Putin has every right to be concerned about that. And the fact is that in order to come up with any solution, uh, I think that the breakaway region of Donbass will have to be given up, and there may be a compromise in the sense that perhaps the Donbass region will become a quasi free state rather than join the Russian Federation. But we shall see. But it just has to come to an end. And Zelensky may even end up being deposed as part of the agreement. The next prediction, of course, is that the tariffs are going to start on February 1st, and it's going to unleash trade wars. So we're going to see global trade wars moving into 2025 as Trump ramps up his programs of tariffs, particularly with China. And so this will increase the costs for everyone and unleash a certain amount of economic havoc, which brings me to another 2025 prediction. Inflation is going to continue to be with us, and it just seems only inevitable that inflation will continue to be a problem moving into 2025 with all the spending programs and the trade wars and the like. And coupled with that, another 2025 prediction is the retail apocalypse inevitably will continue, and we're going to see a lot more, particularly if you add the trade wars and the tariffs and the inflation on top of everything else. We're going to see a continued acceleration of the retail apocalypse. So we're going to see a lot of brick and mortar stores close, and the move to online shopping and e-shopping and the like will continue. And this is going to be a very hard environment for a lot of small businesses. And another prediction, which is not hard to make either, is that there will be more assassination attempts on Trump. It just seems inevitable. We have a lot of disgruntled and mentally incapable people in the liberal base who imagine they'll be a hero, and of course they would be to a large sector of society. So they'll be gunning for Trump, but I don't want to discount the fact that the deep state is still interested in ending Trump administration, nipping him in the bud, and we're already seeing a lot of legal challenges. And we're only a couple days in, but I definitely predict there's going to be more assassination attempts on Trump. Another prediction for 2025 is we could find ourselves with another pandemic. There's 3 or 4 different viruses that have appeared recently, including the bird flu and other variants. And I think once again we could have players behind the scenes that want to unleash this. And Fauci's gone, but it looks likely that there's going to be more pandemics moving forward, and at least similar reactions as well with lockdowns and masks and protocols and the like. And it's hard for me to accept that that's the case moving forward, but once again it seems inevitable. And then of course we're going to have as AI accelerates, it's going to have more and more of an impact on society. And I think moving into 2025, it's moving forward so fast and so economically competitive, and it's getting integrated into everything that we're going to see the downside of AI probably moving into 2025, and certainly moving forward, the dangers of AI, and then the fact that a lot of jobs are going to be displaced. They've tried to soft soap the effects on labor and the workforce by AI, but the reality is whole sectors from the working class to the middle class to the upper echelon positions in this country and around the world are going to be displaced by AI. It's just an economic reality, and it's moving so fast now, it's hard for me to imagine that we're not going to see some dramatic impacts from AI in 2025. And then my last prediction for now is the idea that the real economy has been completely distorted and hidden under the last 4 years of the Biden administration. And so the economic reality is that we're on tenuous footing at best, and a lot of this stuff is going to catch up with us. And I think when Trump gets into office and his people start looking around, they're going to find a horrifying economic reality. I've long thought that they've been putting off the economic crash, but what a great opportunity for them to basically let the global economic crash happen on Trump's watch and completely undermine everything else he wants to do by miring the world and this country in an economic calamity for the next 4 years. And so they've been predicting a big crash for a lot of years. I've been on doom watch since about 2008 with the big bank bailouts. But it does really seem like the economic pressures are really reaching critical mass, and stock market valuations are just insane. And the people of this country under a lot of economic pressure, and inflation will only exacerbate that. And then, like I mentioned earlier, the tariffs and trade wars and inflation and everything put together, and also if interest rates get lowered by the Fed, things get pretty crazy out there. So there it is, pretty quick and dirty, pretty broad strokes, but those are some of my ideas about what we're going to see in 2025. As the great Betty Davis once said, buckle up, it's going to be a bumpy ride. I'm useful, Elliott, don't you be one too?